So this is the way that you can explain it in your own words, or you can say, then you can see that what could be the maximum possibilities. So we can simply say that it is the one point solution for storage, for processing, and for so many other things. The one common resources, they can be handled by any of the customer or any of the individual at any other place. But here you can see the definition. This definition is actually from the NIST. I hope that you are knowing about the NIST. That is stand for the National Institute of Standards and Technology. So whenever you can see the definition, it doesn't mean that is only the definition. That is one of the definition. And some of the time, it doesn't mean that whatever the definition you can see, that is the full and final definition. Because those definitions are drafted when that concept is started. So once the things are started, maybe what we are thinking, we even go beyond that concept. So those definitions could be changed with the time as well. So now if you can see this definition, so in this, it mentioned that the cloud computing is a model for enabling the various type of the convenient on-demand network access, which could be known as the shared pool of configurable computing resources, such as networks, servers, storage, application, and services as well. And those can be rapidly provided and released within the minimal management and effort within less amount of the time. So this is the concept by the NIST for the cloud computing. We can see that the same concept or the same definition, it seems that it is still there, and few things more are also there. What are those more things? Those you will be able to learn with time. Now you can see from here, it is trying to explain us 5, 4, 3. Or you can read it from right to left, 3, 4, 5. Principles of cloud computing. But what we believe, now the things are even beyond this concept. Now, if I just make a pointer for your better understanding, so you can see from here, 3, 4, 5 principles of cloud computing. What is 5? What is 4? What is 3? You will see them in a couple of minutes. Before that, this is the primary understanding of the NIST cloud definition framework when the cloud was started at that time. So that's why you can see this is the done by the NIST and their presence is here as well. So what is the concept? They said that the deployment model, that how we can deploy to the cloud, could be in a private mode, then we can call the private cloud, could be in community mode, then we can call community cloud, and it could be in the public cloud or public mode as well. So we will discuss that what's the difference between the private, community, and public as well. And on top of that, you can see that that is another concept as well, which is mentioning about hybrid cloud. So what is the hybrid cloud? The hybrid cloud, the concept is the same, like as we understand that the hybrid means which is the combination of 2 or more than 2. So the hybrid cloud, maybe it has the properties or the characteristics of private cloud and community cloud, or community cloud and public cloud, or maybe the public cloud community cloud, and some of the things which we may say about the private cloud. Could be any possibility. Then the second thing is about the service model. So the service models are what? Three modes. We are providing three modes. Number one, software as a service. The cloud, which provide us the services at the level of the software services. Software, that's why we call software as a service, and normally we call as SaaS, SaaS. Then the second one is service model is the platform as a service, which is called PaaS. Like SaaS, this is PaaS, the platform as a service. The third one is actually IaaS. So this is infrastructure as a service. So software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. We will discuss in a couple of minutes in detail, but it's simple. You can see the difference is here: infrastructure, platform, and software. So it means this is the type of the service model. The company or the one of the individual person will be able to get the infrastructure. If this is the model, then they will be able to get what? The platform. And if this is the model, then what they will be able to get, that will be the software. What it is, how it is, what are the differences among them, we'll discuss in a couple of minutes. Now, what are the essential characteristics? Means if suppose we are saying that this is the cloud, then what type of the characteristics it may have or it must have? Those are broadband network access, resource pooling, measured services, rapid and very elastic, means on demand they can provide us services. These are the things which are essential characteristics. What we mean by the essential characteristics? It means if some cloud, it does not have the two or three things out of that, then we cannot call that this is the cloud. So if it is a cloud, so these are the essential or fundamental basic characteristics that it must have. Then the common characteristic. The common characteristics, it means they may have, and in case if suppose few of them, if they are not there, then no issue for that. It is fine even at being there or not. So massive scale, it doesn't mean massive scale if suppose it's a cloud is at the small scale, no problem. In case if suppose it's a private cloud, maybe it is not having the massive scale. But if it's a public or it's the community or some other type of hybrid, maybe massive scale. So it could be or it may not be. So the common characteristics, that's why we group them as the common. So homogeneity, the homogeneity will be there in one of the type of the deployment model. But in the other type of the deployment model, it will not be there because they are opposite to each other. That's why we call it as common. So I hope that you understand that what it means by the means essential characteristics and what it means by the common characteristics. So in the same way, virtualization, low cost software. Cloud has the strong concept about the virtualization. What is virtualization? That's what we were discussing about the VM and hypervisors, these things, but not necessary in case if suppose some of them they don't have, in case if suppose they are private cloud and lower level cloud. So could be possibility of anything. So in the same way, from here to here, someone they may have, like suppose you can see here at this point, about geographic distribution. So maybe if a private cloud, we may not require the geographic distribution, but it's a public cloud, we require it is a massive level. If it's a public, it is a private, maybe we don't need it at the massive scale. So these are the things that we need to understand. So this can help us to, this is why these characteristics, we group them as a common. So in each of the cloud, maybe all of them is there, or maybe few of them are there, or maybe 50% out of them is there. But what are the essentials? From there, we cannot take even a one characteristics out. Otherwise, we cannot call that this is the cloud. Now, you remember here we said this is the concept about the 5 and 4 and 3. Now we're going ahead, so you can see the 5 essential services. So what it means by the 5? The 5 means the 5 essential services. Going back, so you can see from here, these are the actually essential services 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's why it was calling 5. So you know the magic about the 5, and you will know the magic about the 4, and you will know the magic about 3 as well very soon. So 5 essential cloud characteristics are what? They are, the number 1 is on-demand service. That's what we saw here. Okay, you can see from the these essential characteristics. Number 1 is actually the on-demand cell services. So you can see from here, the number 1 is on-demand cell services. It means that a consumer can request and receive as per his needs. But any of the cloud must have that capability to entertain the request of the customer. It doesn't mean that the customer is wish to this much amount of data or this much services or this much infrastructure, and the cloud said, no, you have to take up to this much, otherwise we cannot. So this cannot be possible, because these are the essential components, essential characteristics of the cloud. So you can see from here that the capabilities or services needed automatically without any human intervention. So the services, those things we may require without any human interaction. So it will be on-demand self-service. Not only on-demand, but they will be the self-service as well. The user will not be waiting for anyone. So it may have, what it mean by the on-demand and self-services further, it may facilitate the faster and easy access of the resources requested. Say, for example, if you are using Dropbox and Google Drive, you keep your file and now you want to download it. So you are requesting for something. Your demand is that download that file or access that file. And you are doing it, means what it means by the self-service, that you may not require any permission or you may not need to contact anyone that I need this. No, that is your data. That is your data. On demand, you can keep on demand, you can get it done. That is the other thing, that you are using the free service. But in case if suppose you are using more, then you have paying. So again, the rate of the services will be there at the same standard. So that's why we call that the basic characteristic that the cloud should be capable to provide the on-demand self-service. Reduce the administration or administrative burden. We may not require any administrative person. Okay, so you notice that for any of the cloud, we don't have any administrative. Okay, only for those people who are there to handle it for its maintenance. Okay, to keep an eye for taking care about the rack servers and everything. Second point, as we say that these are the five essential. So this is the first, and point is actually the broadband or the broad network access. Okay, so that is what is the broad network access. It means that actually you are supposed to, as a user, you are supposed to have your required data, so you can be able to have that, okay, with a good broadband network. So what it means, you can see that users these two only have a basic internet connection, so they can get whatever want to get. Okay, so users may require the basic internet connection, and after getting the basic internet connection, they should be able to have the access for the services what they require. And the cloud services should require either no client or maybe a very lightweight, thin client to get it done. The cloud services should be able to access the heterogeneous devices as well. They provide support for all of the devices. They may not say that actually what type of the support is only for particular devices or for particular hardware. So they may not. So this is how broadband network access. This is the second essential part, or the second essential point that what we discussed out of those 5 points. Now, the third point is about the resource pooling. Resource pooling is the key concept or the key idea or the key benefit. That's why the cloud came into being. So the cloud services are the cloud servers, the provider, they must provide the computing resources, and they must be in a concept of pooling. What do you mean by the pooling concept? Pooling concept, it means that they may be able to handle the several users, multiple users at the same time. So you can see the first point, the providers computing resources are pooled to serve multiple consumers using a multi-tenant model. Means they may not say that we are only able to provide the services to group A or group B or group C. So we are not able to provide the services to the other groups or other organizations or other companies. This concept is called resource pooling. Means the resources can be used by multiple people, or in other words, we can say sometimes the same resources can be used by multiple people as well. How it could be possible, what we are saying, so you will learn later when we discuss about the virtual machine concepts, hypervisors, and you will see that how instances we are going to create and how we are shifting and shuffling the instances from the one cloud to another cloud. Most of the time, while you are using your cloud services, this is at this time, maybe you will not be able to understand. This it's a hint for you that you are using the cloud services. At the moment, you are accessing to some resources which are from Malaysia, but probably in the next second, you will be shifted to the other country, maybe in Vietnam or in Gulf or in Europe or some other places. How and why? There are these solid reasons behind it, and how we are doing effectively. We are doing it very effectively. User will not realize that means what happened at the back end, but user will be able to receive uninterrupted services. So you will learn later on how these things are working and how this shifting is going to be done. So that concept comes under the pooling concept. That in the pooling concept, we have to have the pool of resources. And from the pool of the resources, that is a common anybody can use. The pooling concept is from the same like the swimming pool concept like we have. We have a water in a swimming pool, anybody can come and swimming pool can serve to that particular person. It's not dedicated for someone. So the same way we have a pool of resources, and that resources can be used by anyone. One of the resources can be used by the multiple, means people or multiple organizations as well. So this concept is known as the resource pooling, and that is the third pillar from the 5 essential cloud characteristics. So this is the third important characteristics of the cloud. Then the fourth one is the cloud should be rapid, and it should be means have the approach of what we can call that it should be elastic. What it mean by the elastic are the elasticity, that is the ability to easily grow or shrink. You are using the services, say for example, your space, what it is required, you agreed with the means cloud team or the cloud that you will use the 2 GB. Now what happens if suppose you are using the some of the processing or your execution some of the task, and during that means your task, what happens if suppose you require 2.2, 2.3 GB of the space or GB of the memory. So your cloud, even though your package is 2, but it should be means elastic approach, with elastic approach, that it may not stop your operation, but it may extend as per your requirement, and maybe later it can charge you. That's not an issue. So our focus is that what? That the focus is that how we can get benefit. User can get benefit and user can get uninterrupted services. Because if user receive that due to this reason you are not able to, then what happened? How? Then it means maybe the process what you are executing, it took already a lot of efforts and a lot of times and a lot of resources. Now at that state, deadlock is there and you are not able to execute. So you will be, it means wasting your all of resources and time and efforts and everything. So the cloud basic characteristics, it should not be like this. It should have resource pooling. It should have rapid means approach. It should be what we can say elastic approach, that it can be grow with the time of need and it can be shrink at the time of need, but automatically. Not a user is means requested like that, no, but it should be like on demand as well as automatically. So you can see from here, grow or shrink capacity of the resources made available by a provider to satisfy the user. So our ultimate focus is the user demand, because the cloud is designed to entertain the individual and corporate sector users. If they started creating, the cloud started creating any of the troubles and problems and users stop using it, then it means that the concept of the cloud is gone. So that's why we mentioned that this is the one of the means concept is the under the essential characteristics. Essential characteristics, it means that we cannot deny, we cannot avoid it. Then mirrored services. So the cloud and the last and the most important essential character is that it must have a capability to measure the services, how much it is giving to us, to measure the usage as well. Because if it is not there, how we will charge the user? We cannot. So this is the most important point as well. So metric, this measurement concept normally we call as a metric. Metric could be such a time. What could be metric? Could be a time, could be a bandwidth, could be storage, could be processing, could be the cost, could be anything. But we may have the concept of the metric. Then we can keep a record that how much it is being used and by whom it is being used, how long even it is being used. Okay, so these are the 5 important essential concepts. Those are means it should be on demand and set, and broadband are the broad network access. So it can be means providing the access at any time. Resource pooling, and it should be quick, rapid, okay, and elastic in its approach, and it should be able to measure the services as well. Now we are going to the deployment model. So going back again, so here now you know the secret about what is the 5. So the Five are what? Five are the essential characteristics. Now we are going towards the four. The four are what? The four are actually the deployment model. Four deployment models are there. Number one is public, number two is private, number three is community, and number four is actually the hybrid. So now we have to see, we will discuss it means in a very detail later, but at least we have to understand now everything is a cloud. So what it means? All of them, they must have all five essential components or characteristics. That's what we discussed. And beside of that, they all may have a common characteristics that you remember what we discussed here. So now you will notice that few of them, they have few from these characteristics, and few of them they don't. So that's why we group them in the common category. So you can see a private cloud. This should be or could be operated means by any individual for the single organization, either a single organization, either the single concept. So maybe on the premises are the off premises. What do you mean by the premises are off premises? Premises on or off. Maybe say for example, Taylor University, they have their own dedicated cloud. There's a private cloud that is owned by the Taylor, and Taylor will be the one, or the Taylor's users will be the one they can use it. So that could be, the cloud center could be on the means premises of the Taylor, within the premises of the Taylor, could be means it is kept in USA or some other places, but we just took whatever the amount or data or storage or whatever the things we required. So we are paying to the one of the means company. So they are giving us, and that is means dedicated to us, that is private to us. Nobody else can be using. So that could be on the premises, or it could be off the premises as well. Then we discuss about the community cloud. The community cloud is actually shared, means it's not same like the private cloud concept, but it is shared with these several entities. Those entities which have the common purposes. And the same thing will be here. The same cloud physical installation may be on their premises or maybe off premises, the same like the private cloud. What do you mean by the community cloud? For example, the banking sector. So they might have the community cloud. Education sector, they might have. Marketing sector, they might have. Medical sector, they might have. The government health sector, they might have. So that will be the community level or community cloud. Then the public cloud is the one which is public for everyone. Anybody can access, anybody can purchase, anybody can use. From one country, from one city, from one region to other country, means it is public for everyone. So it is available to the general public and owned by the single organization, and they are selling their services. Say for example, your Dropbox is public cloud. Your Google Drive is a sort of the public cloud. It's publicly available for anyone. Anyone can means take a part, they can purchase and whatever it is. Then the hybrid cloud, as we discussed, that will be the combination of two or more than two. Combination for which out of those three, maybe public and community, maybe public and private, maybe private and community, or maybe the three are joined. Means this, how we will be joining them? Based on what? Based on these properties. You remember the common characteristics properties. Because otherwise in private will be something different, public will be something different, community will be something different. In hybrid, maybe we are required the more common properties. So probably we are going for this one. So you will understand, you will learn it means further in upcoming lectures. Today is just only the introductory lecture. So going ahead, Now we can see the four cloud deployment model as we discuss here. They are the means public, community, hybrid, and private. So you can see from here the public as we already discussed. This is the cloud infrastructure which is made available open for any person for general public. Okay, so this is available to anyone. Then all the systems resources that provided the services are housed as external service provider. And the service provider is responsible for management, for security, for administration, for everything. Like if suppose you are taking the services from the Google, from the Dropbox, then you and me are not responsible to manage its management, do the administration, see the the security and other aspects. No, they will be doing that. Public is not responsible for that. Okay, it may be owned by the one company, by one person, or maybe it is owned by the multiple, based on the share as well. Number two, about the private. So you will see here, now the private is different as we discussed. So this will be exclusively either for any particular organization on an individual basis, or maybe for an individual person as well, could be possible. So organization, they don't want to compromise for the multiple, for the public cloud, so they can take it and they can share it with their own employees, that like what we discussed about the Taylor Cloud. So the system and the resources that provide the services may exist on or off premises. That's what we just discussed. And now it possibly may be owned, managed, and operated by the organization, or maybe by the third party, as we discussed about one of the example about the Taylors. If we install at our own premises, then we are the one who will be responsible for managing, administration, and everything. But we don't want to install it's off premises, so maybe we are just getting those services as well from them. So then we are free from these things. So this could be possible in the private cloud as well. So any of the organization could be responsible for the softwares and other things because it is the private one. So nobody will be entering, and we ourselves will be the one who will be trying to manage the softwares and other things. Now, what is the difference? Because we discussed about the public and private. So how they are different? We discuss here. You got the what we can see the clear difference among them, but we are trying to make it more further clear that what is the difference between them, private cloud and the public cloud. So we can see here that these are the 5 different parameters: infrastructure, policy model, resource model, cost model, and economy model. So now see, we are trying to compare them with the public and private cloud. Infrastructure, the public cloud will be homogeneous. Private cloud will be heterogeneous because they are not supposed to provide the services to everyone. Then the policy model, here the policy will be common because it's for the common people. But here the policy will be customized and tailored policy. They can define their own policy. Resources here, they will be shared and multi-tenant. But here they will be dedicated to that particular organization. It will not be available for all. Here, the cost model, this will be operational expenditure. Like suppose we will try, Dropbox will try, Google will try to have more and more and more and more customer so they can get the more and more and more money. Their cost is like that. But if it is a private one, so the capital expenditure model will be there. Means the one it is being owned by a home, they will be responsible for that. So the economy model, large economy of a scale. Its economy model will be at the large scale because public is available to anyone. But in this case, it will be end-to-end country. We'll be knowing how much it is from where up to where. So this thing is actually trying to just make you clear about the further things that what we discussed about the cloud. Now, going ahead about the community. So you remember, we just discussed about out of those four, we just discussed about the public and the private, and now only the left one is the community. So we need to discuss about the community, and then later we can come to the hybrid. So in the community, this is semi-public, not fully public and not fully private as well. It's partially public, it's partially private, because being owned by the health ministry, so all of the health departments, they can be able to access it. So we cannot say that it is dedicated to one of the hospital or one of the center. No, we cannot say it's not a completely private, but it's not a completely public as well. Me, myself, you, and other people, if suppose they want to access, we cannot. The cloud which is being used by the military. So in this way, we call this semi-public. The cloud infrastructure is shared by the select group or the selected group of organizations. That's what the example we just gave, but not by anyone. So the community one is not fully public and it's not fully private as well. It is in between. While private is full private, while public is full public. So this is the major difference among them. So they can specify the community has shared concerns, common missions. Those organizations, they have the common missions, common purpose, common security requirements, policies and compliances and consideration and everything that is normally called the community. Okay. This is means very simple if you just take it as an example. Say, for example, you are living in one of the condo. If you are living in one of the condo, you want to keep lock your doors and everything. You want to make sure your security. That is the private level security. Your personal level security, it comes like a private level that which matters for you. The other is the security of the whole condo, where the security guards are there, administration is there, management is there, and so many things. That is the example of the community model. And public model, when you're going outside the condo, again, there is a police and management and government and everything that is providing the security at the public level to everyone. Your condo management and security guards will be providing the security to particular only to your condo. They will not provide any security to anyone else, to the neighboring unit. While you are at your home, inside the condo, that you will be means trying to make safer, secure your home only. You will not be means. So from this scope, you can understand what is the public, private, and what is actually the community. Hybrid, as we already discussed, hybrid is actually one where we can go to mix concept with two or more than two. The cloud infrastructure, that is the combination of two or more distinct cloud infrastructure, means the combination of two or more but different types, maybe private, community, or public. So each cloud at his place will remain quite unique with all its entities. What it means by the entities? Like the essential characteristics and the common characteristics. But then what we are doing, we're just going to link up them together to get access for the multiple resources, for the multiple things. This depends on a customized use, on the organization's customized use, so on and so on. Now, you remember that we said that there is a concept about the 5 and 4 and 3. The 5 is done. You remember that 5 is the essential characteristics. The 4 is done. That is the deployment model. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, what is the 3? The 3 is what? That is the service model that is here. So, as a SaaS, as a PaaS, as a AaaS, or whatever you call. So, you can see now we are reaching to number add point, which is the tree. This is the service model. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. This is SaaS, this is PaaS, this is IaaS, IaaS, or whatever you call. So the IaaS is actually what it is, infrastructure. This is the infrastructure as service. I is for infrastructure, A is means infrastructure, as A is for as, and A is for A, and S is for service. So infrastructure as a service. So you can see in line from here, this is, you can find that this is only the infrastructure. When we come up from, means lower to up, then we can say that this is the platform. So this is known as the PaaS. When we reach to the top, which is the application, so that is actually SaaS. So what we are using from the clouds, like so we're using mobile devices, web-based applications, business services, general applications, that comes from this model, service model, which is known as the SaaS. What the organization they are using, the development tools, runtime environment, control interfaces, resource management, dynamic provisions, load balancing, fault tolerance, and these things that comes here to the platform. And what comes to the infrastructure, system monitoring interfaces, resource management interfacing, virtualizations, and computing and storage and network. We're not using for anything, but we are just using for the network, storage, and so many things. So this comes here. So these are the three. We will discuss them again in detail, but these are the core concept, 3 service model. Moving ahead, now we're trying to discuss it a bit more to understand it well. So what it is actually provides application and data services. Who? SaaS. What is SaaS? So SaaS is at the top. So SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. So you may not be confused. So you can say SPI. So you can start from top to bottom. So this will be SPI. The rest of the things, AAS is common, AAS is common, AAS is common. Only the first one is changed. So you can say from top to bottom, this is SPI. So now SaaS is the, from the SPI is the S with the top. So it can provide the applications and the data services that what we just witnessed now. But here is trying to explain a bit more about that. What type of the applications, data, and all necessary platforms and infrastructure, network servers, operating system, storage, and everything. And applications are accessible from the various clients, devices through either thin clients or the web browsers or our own machines or the other interfaces. But this model is providing the completely means applications to the users on their demand, following the same pattern that what we say, the 5 essential components are characteristics, and depending on what common characteristics they are using, depending on its deployment model, which deployment model is. So in the same way, when we go to the PaaS from SPI the second, so the PaaS is, it provides the operating system, development, platform, and database. So now what it is providing? It's providing us a platform. Now, as a user, if suppose we wish, we can install our own applications. We can configure our own applications. We can run our own applications. But what was in the SaaS? The SaaS was actually providing us the ready applications so we can use. So what could be the example, best example for the PaaS? So the PaaS for best example is that Google App Engine and Microsoft Azure services. If suppose we have that, then we can install and we can configure whatever the applications on that. Okay, so that is the PaaS. Now, what is the last, which is the IaaS, which is the IaaS? That is the provides the basic infrastructure services to the customer. Mainly linked or mainly related to the infrastructure only. For example, Amazon Web Services. So it is providing us the infrastructure. And after that, we are supposed to go for, I mean, infrastructure we have, but we don't have the things what we have in PaaS. We don't have those things what we have in SaaS. So if we are using the SaaS, it means everything is ready. We are directly using the applications. If we are here, then it means we have everything, but we have to means configure, install our own application, and we can run our own applications. But if we are here, then it is only providing us the infrastructure. The rest of the things we are supposed to configure, install, then we can be able to run our application. So these are the three different models. Depend on the user requirement, that which user needs what and which organizations needs what. So the someone, most of the individual users, they need mainly from the SaaS. They are not interested for the PaaS or the IaaS, but the organizations, they are misusing the PaaS as well as the IaaS as well. Now, what are the drivers? The next point now we are done with these 3, 4, 5 concept, or 5, 4, 3 concept, that whatever you can call. So now we know what it mean by 5, what it mean by 4, and what it mean by the 3. Now we are going ahead, which is actually about the drivers for the cloud computing. Means what are the things which are actually attracting to the people to go for towards the cloud computing. Those things are many more, but here we just try to discuss the few of them. So the agility is the one, reliability is the second, scalability is the third, elasticity means they are not rigid, but they are. This is the one among the basic, the fundamental or the essential characteristics. So these are the facilities, are things, and there are a few more which actually attracts a common user, attracts to the organizations as well, because it's more reliable. So as a user, we are not supposed to take care, not supposed to bother about its maintenance, its installation, its security, its management, its network. It is software issues, licensing issues, and whatever it is. It is reliable whenever we need. 24 hours, it is with us. It is scalable. It can provide more services. It can be able to handle so many peoples at the same time for the same services, and so on and so on. So these things are the attractions. We call them drivers of the cloud computing. And they are many. We just include a few of them just to give you an overview, brainstorming that why everybody is going towards the cloud. Performance, ease of maintenance, security and compliance. These are the few more. Security is not your problem. That's a problem of the cloud. Maintenance is not your problem. That's a maintenance problem of the cloud. Performance is higher. Do you remember we discussed that they can perform up to a certain level? They can use means jumping virtually from one point to another point, but they keep the standards intact, like their SLA are I hope that you understand what means by the SLA. Standard procedures are there. So they provide a guarantee that a certain level of performance will be there. So the ease of maintenance, performance is higher, and security and compliances are not issue. And what we discussed previously as well. So these all are the factors. They actually they are attracting to the people. And there are so many costs as well itself, and consumerism as well. They are very much different number of packages. How much you use, they can charge to you as per the time, as per the bandwidth, as per the data, whatever is the need of the user. So the user can be able to get according to his need, and he can be charged according to his need as well. It's reliable, it's secure, it's available, it's scalable, and so many other things. Also, top of that, virtualization. Virtualization is a core concept in the cloud. The beauty of the cloud, the power of the cloud is just because of the virtualization. So virtualization, we will discuss it in a very great detail because that is the actually base of the means cloud computing. So we'll see. So what it is, what is the application architecture, how we can be able to use the single application, multiple concept and multiple modes and so on and so on. These all are the drivers which attract to the people to come towards the cloud. At the same time, still there are the few things they are there, which means not helping to the people or helping to the organization to go there. That's what we will discuss after this slide as well. So the bandwidth increase, okay, drivers for the cloud providers, the economies of scale, and recurring of the revenue, and so many things. These all things are the positive edges. Means everybody is wish to be have everything on his fingertips without any hesitation, without any problem, without any what we can say the involvement of maintenance and looking after caring and everything. Without that, they can have the good bandwidth, they can have the means low latency, they can have the space whatever they want, they can have the customized billing, they can have the scalability, they can have the security, they can have the maintenance automatically, they don't require the administration. So many things means like here we just try to means mention this only the few just to provide you the basic understanding and for your brainstorming as we discussed that. Now there are the few more points as well. These all points were there which actually motivate the people and organizations to means come towards the cloud concept. And nowadays, most of us, including the individual and the organizations, they are using the cloud either way. But there are some things. Those things are actually still stopping the people to adopt it or adopt it fully at least. What these things are? Ambiguity. Ambiguity for so many things. Most of the ambiguity is not in actual there, but because most of the organizations and people they are not aware about that. So we can call it as lack of understanding that what the cloud offer causes fear. Most of the people they fear about that. Most of the people they don't know about it. Most of the people they feel that maybe they will charge us a lot. Most of the people they still fear that maybe our data will be lost, maybe our data will be gone, and maybe our data will be compromised, and so many things. But these things are lack of understanding, lack of information, lack of education related to this concept. So the people are concerned over the maturity, that how they will keep our data, how maybe our data is very much critical. Even though we have the different these deployment models, public and private and everything, but it's still the people they have. And on top of that, the few of the cloud services, those who are providing us the services, they don't offer complete SLAs. They don't follow the complete SLAs. So these things also means and try to bring the means restrictions or hindrances or the obstacles to fully adopt are fully deployed, are fully switched, are fully jump to the cloud services as well. However, these challenges are going to be lesser and lesser and lesser with time because with time, everybody is knowing that what is the cloud, what are the benefits, and how this could be. This is the only reason that you can see that now there are so many cloud computing companies out there, and there is a lot of competition among there. Means everything, most of the things we can see that it goes now to the clouds as well. Now, what other, as we discussed, people are afraid about integration, about the security. So why integration? Because customer they think that we don't have direct access to them. Maybe my data is there. So what happened to my data? And what happened to the other things? So these things are actually a problem. Security is the problem. These things are critical and means we have, they are becoming the reason, they are becoming the reason for means what we can say the delay process and trust on the clouds. So for security, people are still thinking that we are not the owner. So who owns the data? For auditing purpose, they think that if suppose my company's, my own data is on the cloud, so how I can audit it? Maybe I'm keeping the data and maybe they're using for the different purposes. You, as a young generation, we don't think about that. Everybody has our data, personal data, even on the clouds. Everybody has the social accounts. We have the accounts. We are sharing the videos on WhatsApp, using the Facebook, using LinkedIn, using the Twitters, using means the Instagram, using so many social networks apps. And on each of that, we are putting a lot of things, a lot of stuff, a lot of videos, a lot of, even our personal data is there. We don't think about that, but still the people are. So these things are actually what we can call the obstacles, the hindrances to grow at the same rate. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed and you understand the concept about the cloud. You understand what is the cloud, what are the difficulties, what are the benefits from it, and also I hope you understand as well about the cloud models, its service models, its deployment models, and what cloud is. These things, though it was very basic, introductory level, but I hope that you understand the points. So now, if suppose you have any question, please let me know before we go for the attendance. So now, I'm just going to, please keep your cell phones ready because we are going towards the attendance. Before that, if you have any question, please let me know. If you don't have a question, then we are just going to stop the recording. Okay, it seems no question. Okay, then we are going to stop the recording.